Okay, and we've started.
Thank you all for making time to join us today for the Kansas City Reparations Commission Housing Subcommittee meeting. Today is April 16th. It is 3 p.m. I am Asia Morris, the subcommittee chair, joined here by Commissioner Kelly Hearn. Are there any other commissioners in attendance, Mr.
Uh,
Goodman?
I'm not showing any other ones available.
Okay. And as a brief recap for those in the audience, we are charged with identifying the harms under housing that have happened under housing through things like blockbusting and redlining, and coming up with an acute group of solutions for reparative justice that help restore Black Kansas Cityans for the harm that they've received. To this point, most recently, since we've last convened, I've been doing some research on the California and Illinois reparations cases. They have had two reparations commissions and reports come out that have been pretty significant in this fight. And I'm going to ask that my fellow commissioners join me in reviewing those. I have to find the link, but I will have the link sent out with some citations to specific points that I'd like for us to discuss in the next month. Um, Beyond that, I'd like to take us to the topic of speakers for housing subcommittee topics moving forward. There is a call for us to have speakers that come out and share about our housing subcommittee topics. But as I've previously shared, I've been having some challenges finding someone to come out. If we could brainstorm a new set or potentially revisit the initial set with some warm introductions, I might be more successful in recruiting participants. I don't think we need to go into the list of people we had now. Kelly, do you recall who else, Commissioner Hearns, I apologize. Do you recall who else was present when we brainstormed the first set of names?
I think Commissioner Ford was also part of that conversation.
Okay.
Um, but I know he has other things going on, so um,
Right.
yeah.
Because when I say I reached out to everyone whose email address I could find,
Hmm.
and I was warm enough. The reception was warm enough. It's just the follow through or getting anyone to commit because it
Mm.
feels like a hefty undertaking. And so something that I can do, something that I will do is talk to Commissioner Ellis about how he's been so successful. I
Hmm.
know a lot of the guest speakers that he has comes from his organization, his nonprofit organization,
Oh,
but I
okay.
haven't been successful in identifying a housing, a complementary housing nonprofit.
Okay.
So that'll be my next ask. The first ask will come in an email later about reviewing Illinois and California's reparations work,
Hmm.
particularly pertaining to housing. The second ask will come with regards to identifying potential speakers for future housing subcommittee meetings. So we can think about that individually. And then I had a third ask. Give me one moment. Do you have any thoughts or wonders, Kelly, while I look for my third ask?
On which part specifically? I always have thoughts.
Well, right. You always have thoughts and wonders, and it's been a while since we've convened. What
Mhm.
are, if, what thoughts are you comfortable sharing right now with housing? Like, what direction would you like to see us take? As it stands, I think our greatest strides will come with the researchers, and we just
Mhm.
aren't there yet. But that doesn't mean I'm dismissing the need for us to have the guest speakers to come out and give us the background education. But
Yeah.
what particularly would you like to see inform how we move forward?
Yeah, I mean, of course, the subject matter experts, I think at kind of a local level, like local organizations would be great. We also, and I'm saying we as in LISC Greater Kansas City, also have like a national network because we're a national organization as well. So I can also reach out to my colleagues in other cities just for like general information to like help with perspective, and even they may have speaker ideas as well. And then of course like tap into our network of housing subject matter experts and organizations as well. I don't know um, people's availability or capacity, and I'm sure like that's what you're running into is like scheduling time. Um, but I'm sure we can find something. I've asked my team. I just asked them actually on Teams if they had some ideas. So I think, putting this ask out there will definitely kind of widen our net and find someone who can help us out.
Thank you. I my work oftentimes feels like it's in a vacuum. I have very few full-time employees, myself
Mm-hmm.
and one other person. And so having a Microsoft Teams where I could just tap into a collective group is something that I think would be a big value add these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so we have, and for the life of me, I cannot recall what my third ask was. I apologize. This is busy. This is busy season for me, which is not an excuse, but it is an excuse right now. And so I'm a little bit behind the eight ball with no time between meetings. Unless there is any other new business that I'm not thinking of, this meeting was primarily to get prepared for our next meeting so we can have greater structure and greater information shared. Is there anything from the panelists, I'm sorry, from the audience?
Yes, actually, Joseph Nelson has his hand up. Hold on for 1 second. Mr. Nelson?
Hi, yeah. Yeah, the chat is disabled. I was trying to figure out I was trying to actually send you an email. The
Oh,
has Richard Rothstein, was that one of the names that was on the list for
Richard
speak?
Rothstein was not a name on the list. Can you tell me more about Richard Rothstein?
So Richard Rothstein is the academic that wrote the book The Color of Law. And so The Color of Law really breaks down how the government segregated America from federal level all the way down to the local level. So he does a very thorough analysis on that. So I think he'd be a great speaker. And I know he does speaking engagements. I'm not sure how to go about facilitating it. I'm Googling it right now, but I think that would be a good name. The other name that comes to mind is the regional HUD director for the Midwest. Um, and his name, I want to say, is Ulysses. Looking it up, right? And then I believe there's some professors at UMKC in the Center for Neighborhoods and the um, Architecture Urban Planning Department uh,
Mm-hmm.
that may be uh, good to reach out to, if not as speakers, but maybe they have, colleagues that might be able to assist there.
Beautiful. Thank you. And do you mind introducing yourself, Joseph Nelson?
Hi, yeah. My name is Joseph Nelson. I am a citizen at large in the greater Kansas City area, active in the community, and uh, just very interested in this project. I do feel like all the subcommittees connect together. So yeah, just keeping my ear to the ground to see what's happening.
Thank you for joining us and thank you for the recommendations. And I knew the name Richard Rothstein was familiar because I have the book and then the follow-up book he wrote with his daughter. I believe we had a conversation with, I'm trying to think of which group it was, but we were in conversation with Richard Rothstein, and it was powerful. I have regional HUD director for the Midwest. I have Center for Neighborhoods, and that's Dina Newman or Jacob Wagner, most likely, I'm guessing. And then I have your architecture and urban housing. So thank you for those recommendations. Does anyone else have anything to contribute?
Janelle did have her hand up. Janelle, if you still have a question or you have a comment, please raise your hand again. Ah, there it is. Okay, hold on. I'll bring Janelle on. Janelle?
Hi. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just going to say Dinah Newman, LaMonica Upton, or Jacob Wagner at Center for Neighborhoods. Yeah. Yep.
LaMonica Upton. I was remiss for forgetting LaMonica. Yes. And then do you
Awesome.
mind introducing yourself, Janelle?
Sure. My name is Janelle Shuey, and I am a graduate student in the public administration program at UMKC and am taking some planning courses and studying the reparations, specifically like the model that Evanston is using in restorative housing policy. And I'm particularly interested in like codes violations and trying to be more restorative and not punitive in thinking about codes.
I love it.
Yeah, that's very cool. Thank you.
Absolutely love it. Is there anyone else online that has any questions or would like to introduce themselves?
I don't want to mess your name up, but it looks like Zaina. If you want to introduce yourself, raise your hand and I'll bring you on. And she raised her hand.
Great.
Zaina? Can you hear us?
You're muted.
Okay, can you
There
hear
you
me?
are. We can hear
Yes.
you now.
Okay, so hi to all. My name is Zaina Basata. I'm in the undergraduate program at UMKC also. I'm also taking it's in the urban planning and design program, and I'm taking same planning courses with Janelle. So yeah, we're together in planning theories. I'm also having my study in reparation policies and how is that specifically done towards housing. That's why I'm the meeting today. Excited to hear your ideas, what you have on housing. And yeah, specifically, I'm having my field of study in Kansas City, what you were doing towards that, and probably compare that also with Boston, Massachusetts. From my readings, I saw also that Evanston are doing a good job with that. They're probably the first to have like a specific forms. So yeah, can't wait to hear what you have specifically towards housing and what reparative policies would implement.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all. This is an abbreviated meeting, as I've mentioned. So look in coming months for us to do heavier lifting. We are currently, and Eric can speak to this better than I can. I'd love to put you on the spot, Eric. But currently looking to staff some team members who can do the requisite research we need to make certain determinations. And so the answers that you all are seeking will be like several months down the road. But that's ultimately what our goal is, to identify the ways that Black Kansas Cityans have been harmed, specifically through housing, and make suggestions to the city on how to make them whole. And without any further questions or introductions, is there any old business that anyone would like to bring up and discuss? Commissioner Hearns?
I'm not sure. But for those who haven't attended like our larger commission meetings, we are working with a few Columbia students and also some law students. They visited Kansas City a few weeks ago and are doing research on their own as part of a larger project in their program. And so I believe that report may be available to the public in a few months. But there's a lot of like outside of these subcommittees and even outside of our larger commission, there's a lot of people that are doing work in this space, and there's a lot of people that are also focusing on Kansas City. So the information you seek, it might not be, with Commissioner Morris or myself, but it may just be in future meetings or future listening sessions or future reports. So just a heads up, we have other people working on this as well. That's it.
Thank you, Kelly. Hearing no further old business, no new business. Eric, could you please remind us when our next housing subcommittee meeting is?
Yes, I can do that. Next housing subcommittee meeting, because it's the third Tuesday of every month. It's going to be May 21st. And I do want to let those of you in attendance, if you want to get the agenda and the Zoom link, it's the same Zoom link every month. But if you want to be on the email list, please feel free to send me an email. And my email address is, okay, I have to give my reparation email address. Sorry. It's reparation.admin@kcmo.org. And just send me an email. Let me know that you want to be on the housing email list. And, or I can just put you on the reparations email list and you'll get notification for each subcommittee and the full commission meeting as well. And that's all I have.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you all for your time, and I'll see you all next month. This meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.